Be the Hero and Rescue Yourself. My name is Kelly Fullman, and just like our superheroes and some of our favorite superheroes, there are villains out there that will stop at nothing to see them fail. But even sometimes, our most favorite superheroes and even some of the most strongest ones have those inner demons that they allow to wreak havoc over their lives. So, what can we do to create that inner courage to wear our own cape and be the hero of our own life? So I've been able to meet some amazing people in my professional and personal life. And to me, they're my very own superheroes. And I have invited them in here to my home and my studio um, to talk to them about how they created their own inner courage to put on their cape and rescue themselves and be the hero of their very own lives, which have allowed them to be heroes in so many other people's lives. So today, my subject is, and this is more just me, is creating that brownie box for your employees. So I know many of you out there probably watching are entrepreneurs. You are getting out into the workforce, or some of you are even mid-level managers, directors, VPs, and if I'm lucky enough, I've got a handful of CEOs that are watching, or C-suites, folks in the C-suites watching. So the reason why I call it creating the brownie box for your employees is because I got this from my husband. And when I used to work for my former employee, we worked really hard and worked with many organizations all across the United States to help them kind of reevaluate their employee experience and reevaluate their customer experience and the experience of their leaders as well, and making sure that their leaders had the tools that they needed to be able to create that amazing experience for their employees. And then those employees would be able to take care of their customers. And I sat down, because we always did a interview, and I sat down in front of one of the CEOs and I asked him point blank a couple of questions. So what is it you do for your employees that will keep them here? And he was like, well, I pay them. I said, oh, no, no, no. No, no, no. So I'm going to tell you what I told him. I said, you're married, right? And he was, yes. And I said, I'm married, and I have been married for now 15 years, as of last week, to an amazing man who coined the phrase brownie box. And not just the brownie box of, you know, that I've got to do these things to make my wife happy. It is, yes, I am her husband. I work hard. I provide for the family. And I make sure that the family's taken care of. But then that's not just enough, right? And that's what this CEO thought. He thought that I give them a salary, I pay them every 2 weeks, they have a 401k, they have insurance, health insurance, and that should be enough, right? You know, we have a Christmas party at the end of the year, and we do a white elephant exchange. It's kind of fun. So he thought that that was it. And I was like, congratulations. That is 90% of the organizations here in the United States. What else are you doing for your employees to allow them to understand how they are appreciated, and will help them make that decision when people are trying to recruit them away to stay? Because it's so important for you to have veterans within your organization, and I'll tell you why here in a little bit. So let's go back to the brownie box. My husband calls it the brownie box, and he says it's the little things that I do to make you happy that adds to the brownie box, because he knows, and I quote, I'm a man and I'm going to do something that's going to piss you off. And so if I have gradually added to that brownie box, like sending flowers for no reason, sending you a text message saying good luck in that meeting, or if he didn't get to walk out of the house and tell me I looked beautiful as I was walking out for a meeting, he'll text me and tell me, man, you looked beautiful, I'm such a lucky man. Or send me cute little memes or funny memes, or call me in the middle of the day and ask how I'm doing. Or even when I broke down last night because I've been on the 8-week hunt for a new job, and I just was kind of beside myself and having a Kelly pity party. Him telling me that it was going to be okay and that he was going to be there, and finding other ways and other opportunities for me to go out and find that new role in that new company that I'm going to thrive and do amazing in. He calls it the Brownie Box because he adds to it all the time for no reason, because he knows at some point he's going to mess up. And so we just deduct from the Brownie Box, as he says, so he doesn't end up on the couch or outside with the dogs on the trampoline with a pallet. So I kind of explained that to the CEO. I said, you haven't been adding to the Brownie Box. You're doing just the minimum for your employees, which all other organizations do that as well. What else are you doing to keep your employees, keep them engaged, and keep them happy outside of what you are just supposed to be doing, which is provide them a salary, provide them health insurance options, and an ability to save for retirement? What are you doing? Are you giving them the ability for promotion? Are you giving them opportunities for training and development? Do you give them the tools to be able to take care of their employees? Do you sit down with them regularly and find out what their vision, their hopes, and their dreams for their career is? Do you sit down with them and actually talk to them about what kind of processes are getting in the way of their ability to be able to deliver on great customer service every day? Are you okay? Christmas party, great. Is everybody attending the Christmas party, or could you do Christmas bonuses instead of a Christmas party? What other things could you be doing to help add to that Brownie Box? Because at some point, as a CEO, as a vice president, as anyone that's an upper level management, there are regulations and things that are going to happen that you are going to have to make your employees abide by. And sometimes those aren't fun. And we're going to deduct from the Brownie Box, but we're going to give you a little bit more leeway because you have added to my Brownie Box over time, meaning you have taken good care of me, and I'm going to give you some wiggle room, right, to make mistakes. And that won't bring my eye over to a potential recruiter that's going to call me and offer me another opportunity, even if it's for a little bit more money. So first and foremost, add to your people's Brownie Box. It's so very important. And why do you want to add to the Brownie Box and keep your people and have veterans on board? This is something that I often explained to a lot of my leaders and mid-level managers, and they never really got it. I said, your culture that you enjoy and that you love right now and that you're so concerned about, those stories are held in the brains and in the history of your veterans, the folks that have been here for 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years. And so when you start having new employees come into your organization and come into contact with these veterans that have that kind of history, that have that kind of knowledge, have the stories and the legacy of your organization, and they are able to retell those stories to those younger generation coming in, these younger generation, even though they have a new way of working, even though they have a new way of doing things, and you may have to change your management skills or your style a little bit, they understand where this company came from. And that's so very important. So very important to understand where you started, where this company came from, who started it, what was the history, what was their vision, and where we are now and where we're going into the future, right? It's not just enough saying, here's our mission statement, here's our vision, and have fun. No, and you can't just put stuff up on the wall either and expect it to stick as culture. You have got to have enough veterans within your organization to sit down and that tell those stories from generation to generation, just as our grandparents and our great grandparents and everyone before us within this amazing country of ours told the stories and the history and the legacy of who we are as a culture. But if you don't do that within your organization, then your culture is going to get lost. So key to having your veterans there within your organization Also, if you are interviewing for a position or a role within an organization, unless it is a startup company, you need to ask what the average tenure of an employee is there, right? And then also the average tenure of directors, managers, VPs, because you want to know if people are staying. Because if their turnover is very high, 9 times out of 10, there's something wrong with the culture. 9 times out of 10, it's a toxic culture situation, and you need to run as quickly as possible. So, what is the the value of my story today? And it's just a really short and quick and sweet kind of video. Is make sure that you fill the brownie box of your employees, because it's sometimes, as a human, you are going to make mistakes and they're going to give you a little wiggle room. So do more than just I pay them, I give them a 401k, and they have insurance. And then also make sure that as you're adding to the brownie box, you make sure that your veterans are there and that you have a long tenure within your organization, so they have the ability to be able to talk about the history and the legacy of your organization as you build and you grow and you bring some of these new generation, whether it's millennials, Generation Z, whatever you want to call them, bring them in and kind of immerse them into who you are and the culture and the history of the organization. And no one can tell that better than someone that has been there for ages and ages. And then that'll allow those young folks to see how successful these folks have been and what it takes to be successful within that organization. And then they can figure out how to pull that into their own personality and make sure that they fit within that culture. So I just want to say happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and be sweet, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast, Be the Hero and Rescue Yourself with Kelly Fullman. If you enjoyed listening to my podcast or watching this YouTube video, please follow or subscribe to my channel and walk with me through my journey of celebrating my very own heroes and an opportunity to learn the valuable lessons they taught me over the years, which allowed me to gain the courage to wear my very own cape and be the hero of my life. You can also follow me on Instagram at K Fullman, that's KFUHLMAN, at Facebook, /K Fullman1, or on LinkedIn, Kelly Fullman MBA. Also, please leave your comments below, because I see feedback as a gift, and it will guide me on how to help you gain the courage you need to rescue yourself. Be sweet, y'all. Thanks.